Hello everybody, welcome back to Wobbleville. Welcome back to our painting Shatterpoint here. We got some Ewoks that we're going to try to paint tonight because, well, even though it's late, it is still May the 4th, so Ewok time. Now I actually have some other stuff from that box, all the other stuff from that box that's actually based and ready to go. You can see we did some shenanigans here with this one, adding lots of 3D printed bits there because, well, we didn't want to have the same thing going with that tree right there. And again, just added, even to this one, added some more bits. Hey there, Ryan. Sorry everything was late, but more craziness with weather, which delayed the filming because I just literally finished filming this stupid video here. If I just was doing this box, it would have been done, but I was also trying to do the box with Skywalker and R2-D2 and such. So, yeah, it was doing some desert scene bases there. Nice to see you there, Dark Shoe. So, or Dark Horse, sorry. So Armored Wolf, he's running a tournament right now. Yeah, he's off running a tournament, so it's just us right here. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to just start throwing some of our lighter stuff over the top of it. Alright, see you in a little bit there, Landrast. Say hi to everybody, and, well, I don't think, well, there's never been a TPK anyways, but who knows, maybe they do something stupid this time around. But have a good time there, Landrast, and see you in a bit. Yeah, nothing fancy's going to happen here. It's just going to be very basic. I guess I forgot there's another box that has the Ewoks in there, because I guess there's the boss Ewok in the other box, not in this one, but in the other box. So I guess we'll have to snag that one too, especially now that we have this very fun base. I mean, look, that doesn't take very long, right, to do, well, that. Hey there, Nurgle Matthew. Nice to see you. Happy Saturday. Now, again, for some folks, it might already be Sunday. Well, it just turned 11 here. Again, sorry that this is later. There was more for schmizzlement here today, so we just tried to work our way through that. And at least there's a video of these guys filmed. So there is that, and that'll probably be going up on the Patreon page tomorrow. Yeah, let's do this. And we're gonna leave this one. And of course this one was very fun too. Getting that thing going. Alright, we'll do some glazy stuff in a sec. I'm just gonna try to go a smidge later, maybe even intro a little bit of the Mars Yellow Deep there. So Ryan, as usual, when more folks are here, same thing there, Dark Horse. If you want to share some stuff, wait till there's some more folks in the chat and such. So some of these, actually half of these bits are from Make It Epic Basing. The other half are from Goon Master Games. Oh, that's right. I didn't get a chance to mess around with the printers at all today. That's kind of a bummer. However, I'm hoping that I didn't even get a chance to look to see if the Slan Mage Priest on Engine of the Gods actually printed out. It seems to, but the only one way I'll know is later tonight when I actually get that off of those off the build plate there. Alrighty. I'm going to gear up my reference here wherever you guys are. There you are. Alright. So it shows one of these as being white. I'm not so sure about that. Hey, Slade, how you doing? Oh boy. But Slade, thank you so much. Appreciate that. And I hope that everything is going a little bit better. So I thought I had done the birthday greetings for you last week, but I guess somehow that did not go through. But happy delayed birthday there, Big Jim. Nice to see you there. So Rico, I guess that's the That's the one. So that would be the other box. So yeah, well, Yub Nub and other Ewoks. Now, what's hilarious? What is really hilarious is that they show these things. Do I have any of the bases that are open here? No, but well, we'll just use this. What's hilarious is like this one here. He's standing on that tree, right? Well, the tree is literally sticking out of this. So the tree is actually sticking out of the deck plating there, which is hilarious. So Slate, I hope that you're doing really well. I know that things have been crazy for you. Is like I don't think this guy has a quarter. Like actually, I do. Oh, okay, oh, wait a minute. Teddy bears have quarters? It's like, well, who are we going to teddy bear? Well, that's your name, right, Ted? No, actually, my name is Morris. So, okay, just for you there, Slade. A delayed birthday present there. Now, which was the one that actually this is the one that they show as being white. So I don't know, maybe do something like that. But let's get ourselves some of the asphaltum, some of the Van Dyke Brown, and do that. So I'm gonna say that I might do this as a video right here because of the camo pattern and stuff that's on there, and then well, I think we'll just maybe hit these on some streams. Hey there, Green Fairy Studios, how you doing? Again, my apologies that everything is just so late here. I was actually going to try and start a bit earlier so that we actually were on May the 4th. But again, Big Jim, really appreciate you being here as always. And I just, again, I hope everything goes well as possible. Sometimes it's the best we can hope for, right? So yeah, recoil. Well, just like Alex the Cave Troll, right? Yeah. Jeez, are we gonna start having Ewok cast members on this show too? Now, of course, I don't know why these guys are Twitch friendly because they're not wearing pants, so technically not terribly Twitch friendly right there. Yeah, they're going pants free right now. Now, Big Jim, I know that's and that was weird because that search took a little while. That wasn't like a 1 week or 10 week search. That lasted a little while. So hopefully that place is still proven to be a worth the wait there. So great to see you there, Green Fairy Studios. I mean, this nothing complicated here. This is just some of our Perline Black. Now, somewheres over here, is this the one? Yeah, this is the one here. So this guy, if you remember last night's stream, everything here took 36 minutes from start to from the black primer you're seeing on these guys to this. That was 36 minutes right there. Oh, well, that's good, Jim. That is fantastic, Slade. Obviously, I think it's really kind of sliced into the streaming time. I know that, Wednesday there was a pyro clip. Actually, everybody please give Big Jim Slade a follow, speaking of which. And Slade, of course, I was about to say, now, actually, should things ever finally calm down again, would you be trying to do some painting streams? I know you also have the gaming streams and the real estate streams and such. But I wasn't sure. Maybe you might try to get back into your painting because you were really chugging along with the painting there, for sure. Let's see. So Rico, great to see you. Yeah, Rico, there was more of that crazy weather stuff here again today. Out of nowhere, it was just like, wait, what the heck is going on here? This again? But unlike last time, I had everything fully deployed. Precautions had been taken. I don't know how much of a difference it would have made on Thursday. I still wouldn't have been able to stream, that's for sure. So maybe we will go with the white on him. I don't know. Yeah, Slade, I know of what you speak there. Yes, indeed, because I was doing this at the new filming area, and of course that was the other thing too, is that the computer, for whatever reason, that one just hates XSplit. I have no idea why. But I basically had to not just restart the machine, but basically redo everything. So the video that I thought was going to be done filming, I thought I was actually going to be having it rendering while we were filming, or while we were streaming here. Yeah, so much for that. Hey there, Thranuel, yet again, looks like we woke you up early. So Recoil, it was great to have Mom in the stream, and great that Mom is doing a whole bunch better. That's for sure. That's quite the relief, I'm sure. Me throw a little bit. You know what? I'm gonna actually put a little bit of the Indian yellow into that. So yeah, Recoil. We're talking about in a matter of minutes, inches of rain, and that was well, streets were flooding all over the place. Again, just because of how rapidly that was happening. So Thranuel on the way to work there. Well, glad we could keep you a little bit of company there, Thranuel. More of that pearly black. That's the dark green. Nothing terribly exotic or fancy about this. Now I could do, especially since some folks have sent me pictures of some really exotic plants like armored wolf. He wants me to do some, like some stripe, whatever. What the heck is that called? A pinstriped calathea or something like that. Yeah, he sent me a picture of that. Now we'll switch things up here. We'll get some of the asphaltum and such in the fur areas. Hey there, Rico's mom. And hey there, Horns fan. Nice to see ya. Bithron, it's always, I don't know, there was one that, I mean, almost everybody, like 100% of the time, chooses the helmeted version. That's kind of why it shows the not helmeted one. And I know, again, most folks would probably automatically go with the helmeted version. So, Mom, it's great to see you here. Glad that things are going pretty well for you, too. That's also good to hear. Everybody say hello to Mom, who is now in the chat there. So, Mom, thanks again for being here. And happy Sunday to you. Because there I know it is Sunday. Yeah, oh. Why don't we just get that too while we're at it? And you can see this one not quite as shiny on the glazy stuff there, right? So Horns fan, I hope that Saturday was a fun day for you. Again, this was I just before we started streaming here, I'd finished a basing episode, and that's where we based all the little Ewok guys and such. And right here too, our your Princess Leia there. I'm still going here. Let me try a bit of the Mars black, maybe even a little smidge of the indigo here. Yeah, little more. And get just a little something in there like that. Alright, and then we'll just leave that piece. So again, we've got 15 minutes in. All of a sudden, we got kind of values spread around here, because reasons. Now, a Horns fan, that's fantastic. Now you'll be able to, hopefully you'll be able to do some basing on, because again, these things were literally supposed to go like a tree sticking out of deck plating like that. I mean, that is just absolutely bizarre. I have no idea why they just couldn't develop maybe a couple of other different bases, but no. Especially since they really, well, I guess with like with this one here. Now, even I added more vegetation to it, but I mean, there is one of them standing on a tree. Maybe it just was to fit them all on the base. I don't know. But again, here's one that we did. That's a tree by Zabevka there, actually. Alright, so I think, yeah, we've got all of our lazy things going there. Now, maybe we will try to lighten up, well, maybe this is Winston. So we have Morris and Winston, I guess. That'll be our two bears. Some of the, no, let's grab some of this. So that would be the not Radiant Indigo right there. And of course, well, Ryan, if you wanted to share anything in the chat, please go ahead and do that. Yeah, so we'll just maybe we'll go kind of according to what we're seeing there on the. Wow, they have almost like Hobbit type feet. They have these pink feet for sure. Now, by the way, this not straight up white by any stretch of the imagination. Are those little goggles that he's wearing? I guess those are maybe some sort of goggles. Just breaking this down, but not too much, because there's too much thinner in there. It's just going to bleed into what we already have here. Is that supposed to be a leaf there? No, I'm just going to say that's more fur. I'm just kind of guessing at that. Everybody, please check out the Instagram link that Ryan just shared. So Ryan, I really want to see that print. I was really hoping I could get down there. Also, too, I want to start the next round of prints. But I'm really hoping that thing turned out. Because that, I don't know, I think I'll still maybe put it on a square base for Old World. I don't know. I know that you can't, I guess there's no lizardmen in the Old World, right? Hey, Cool Studio, welcome back. Thranno, yes, I have some Skavens. They're not super high on the priority list. I actually have a couple of abominations that are at least one abomination that's prepped and ready to go, and then I actually have the Forge World abomination that has the Skaven hero or whatever on the back of it. I figured, well, you'll be seeing those in basing videos first, because, well, we could do some warp stuff or kind of like the sewery, cobblestone, whatever stuff, right, Thrannual? Rico, the pre-glaze is always very different depending on basically what you're gonna do color-wise. Also, it will depend on the miniature. Like these guys not doing the usual pre-glaze. I mean, they're kind of. Oh, I could have done that on them. This one, it's just way too much of a hassle. So that would just get the same dark primer as this. Again, that would be just too much of a hassle getting the sponge down in there. So that's why we do this, and then the dry brush over the top. Hey there, Valfera. Oh, Valfera. Well, it came again, and that delayed the filming, which delayed the streaming. So great to see you there. So again, sorry this is later. I was hoping that it would be earlier because obviously the whole, May the 4th kind of thing. But it seems like, well, a lot of folks, well, they're mostly out on the West Coast anyway. But recoil, sometimes it's almost a dry brush. It will depend on the color because some colors are more staining than others. So like an Egyptian violet or an indigo or something like, or a Indian yellow, you can really get away with quite a bit of thinner in that and still not have too much of an issue with too much of the stuff wiping away. But there's other colors that if you make them too glazy and too much thinner, they'll just they're not gonna have any staying power at all. So it will definitely depend on the. It also even depends on the surface that you're working on. Obviously, this plastic miniature here, well, it's kind of on the slippery side. Whereas, say, the printing resin, especially the stuff that I use, well, that's gonna stick a little bit better, and that changes the arithmetic a little bit when it comes to the maybe amount of thinner that you might add to it. So yes, out of nowhere they came back again. Now again, unlike yesterday, I was trying to prepare. I spent the entire day yesterday drying out all of the sponges. I mean, ultimately I want to try to do the waterproofing thing, but that also means a whole lot of disruption, and it's not exactly going to happen next week either, because there's other priorities for next week. Yeah, that will not be happening. Now here we're going to try and get a little bit lighter. Also, going to throw a little bit of the yellow into that, I think. Just to, yeah, let's do that here. So again, not straight up white or anything of the sort. So yeah, Thranduil, I have some other Skaven stuff, of course, too, with everything that's been moved around. I don't know where any of that stuff is. I think I might know where the one Skaven, the, well, Forge World abomination is. Everything else, no idea, because again, everything has been moved many times over the last 2 years. Fenris Hobby, how you doing? Great to see you here. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate that. So yeah, I was desperately trying to get that video filmed so that I could get this going. Then, of course, if I was just filming or just streaming the Dunlendings, like we were painting last night, well, that would have already been started, because everything was set up for that, not for Shatterpoint or Ewoks, that's for sure. So that you basically have to figure for every hour of streaming, there's about 2 hours of preparation that goes into it. Yeah, let's get yeah, we're getting a little bit of a change of the yellow and the blue, and even this again is not this is not the white here, so we can still even go lighter than this if need be. So Rico, hopefully you get a chance to start picking up again on the stuff that you had put together there. You built a lot of stuff during all of the craziness on Thursday. Well, actually, these were some of the things that I put together, in addition to a bunch of conquest stuff. Again, I think I've gotten maybe, I think I got at least a dozen of, well, the smaller conquest stuff. Then I have some of the sort of hero type figs as well that are prepped. I even started to work on those Ifrit or whatever they're calling them. Hey there, Denethor. How you doing? You know, everybody keeps saying I'm crazy because I set myself on fire and run like 700 yards on fire and then jump off a cliff. But am I seeing a walking teddy bear here? I think I've been looking into the Palantir way too much. That guy's weird. Thank you so much, there, Denethor. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Alright, we're going to try and get some of this lighter stuff here on the face there. Well, Rico, that'll be fantastic. I forget, I think, I know you already told me which chapter you were going to go with there. But no matter what it is, I hope that it's going to be super fun for you. Boy, he actually has some little teensy chompers over here that we're going to try and get. Hey there, bench guy. How you doing? Great to see you back. Thank you so much, bench guy. Appreciate that. Yeah, Denethor, yeah, not so much. Not like, well, the Numenorians they would have. Yeah, I could see the Numenorians doing that. So glad that you're doing well there, bench guy. Oh, that has this, what, 68% to a level 1 hype train right there. So bench guy comes in super strong, and all of a sudden that needle moves very far to the right there towards the hype train side of things. So thank you so much, bench guy. Appreciate that. Let me see if we can get ourselves a little bit more of the lighter fur on him here. And I'm going to start doing some stuff on the... I'm guessing that's leather. Maybe it doesn't have to be, but I think it probably is. Well, Rico, that sounds fantastic. You'll have to... Oh, Rico, I'll have to see what happens when we use maybe AI to try and create a chapter. Thank you so much, bench guy. That looks like it has become one of these. Can the Ewoks stop this? They can stop a speeder, but they cannot stop a hype train. No siree. There it is. It's coming right at you. All aboard that hype train. There it is. Hype train. There you go. Shoot to hype train. There it goes. Thanks, bench guy. I appreciate that. So there's an early hype train on our, I almost said 4th of July there. So on our May the 4th. Thanks, bench guy. Yeah, you know what? There is. It's kind of weird. It's like the fur ends right about where their fingers start, and then it's all just kind of. It's almost more like a monkey or something like that. So we'll see if we can make that happen too. So yeah, Rico, I was just that gives me the idea. Maybe we take the AI or something like that, and we try and do some chapter mashups, and see if we can come up with an interesting new kind of chapter and new symbology and such like that. Seeing what the AI can do to kind of put those together in some unexpected way. That's the whole purpose behind it, is that it sort of gets you out of your, as I like to call it, the creative bias, where you would kind of be prone to just making, well, only this type of chapter, whereas maybe the AI might come up with something a little bit different, a more unusual color scheme that wouldn't be the first thing to come to mind. Rico, that's how the Galadrim elves came to be, because the AI just I put in those parameters because I wasn't sure, is this something I'm gonna like, or is this something that's gonna be kind of silly, whatever, and it ended up working out very, very well. I'm just maybe gonna go with the light. We'll probably maybe try to get some color on those feathers of some kind. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Now again, the plant here, maybe we don't just do a regular green on that. And you can see how, this is already starting to develop there. Again, 31 minutes ago, these two guys were just the dark brown primer like we have on whatchamacallit here. Yeah, recoil. I had no idea until people kept saying, happy May the 4th and all that kind of stuff yesterday. So I desperately tried to do a basing tutorial today. I actually got, I think it was 9 different figures based, and I was trying to get those all ready for tonight, and then that's when all of a sudden more weather came in and craziness. So I had to basically shut down that process to try and make sure everything else was squared away. And that is why we ended up being a wee bit on the later side here. And not a whole bunch of May the 4th left. We've got 31 minutes here. Hey there, Zach. Well, see there. Well then, Zach, if I do a surprise Sunday stream, it could be Shatter Sunday too. Maybe we paint one of the Ewok stands or something like that. It kind of depends if I'm able to get a video filmed during the day tomorrow. But it's not outside the realm of possibility that maybe we do a surprise Sunday stream tomorrow. Well, especially since I missed Thursday. That's kind of one of the reasons why I'd be doing that. We didn't get to do our usual Thursday stream. Yeah, so Revenge of the 5th, so I guess, I don't know, Valfair, maybe it makes sense to do that. I kind of was bouncing around in my head, but now that you say that, maybe it's something we gotta do. And thanks for sending the reminder message there, the Alpha. Geez, I guess I don't know. Send me another reminder message so that I remember the Revenge of the 5th. So great to see you there, Zach. I hope that everything is going fantastic. Let me start to get a little bit of the yellow into this too. All right, here, let me. So that's you know what? Here, let's come back. A little bit of the Mars yellow deep. I guess some more thinner here as well. So yeah, and I was actually thinking just earlier today that, well, since I have a video filmed here, and if I can just film, it doesn't even have to be the entire video tomorrow. Now it'll have to still be kind of on the later side because I still have to call Kathy's family. That'll be my one kind of chance to do that is tomorrow. But maybe we'll try and do a surprise Sunday stream. I'm glad things are going well enough there, Zach. Sometimes that's about the best you can hope for, right? Is that they just go well enough. Try and get me a little something else here, color-wise. Again, I just kind of put a little bit of the yellow into this. Not a ton, just some. And by the way, 35 minutes ago, these two guys, well, they had no paint on them. I like that. I like that Artemiko. Yes, some murder bears here. I think they like that term a little bit better than teddy bears. But now we'll see what Sebastian thinks. Hey, there's Sebastian Illustration. Welcome back. And of course, thanks for the raid. I appreciate that. So, of course, well, I guess it's May the 4th be with you, because we got some Ewoks here. We actually did the whole set. We based everything in heavy rebasing, right? Even the one that has mostly their basing bits still has extra bits. And then here, instead of making it the same, we did something a wee bit different. So Sebastian, great to see you back. And hey there, India Wolfram, nice to see you too. We're working with the oils, and we just said 36 minutes ago, these two had no paint on them whatsoever. Not a zippo zilch. They look just like that because they were all primed at the same time. Well, here, speaking of 36 minutes, last night on stream we painted this guy from the dark brown primer to this in about 36 minutes. With the object source lighting, with the freehand, with the non-metal, all that stuff, 36 minutes. So Sebastian, everybody please give Sebastian Illustration a follow. And of course, Sebastian, if there's anything you want to share in the chat, please go ahead and do that as well. So everybody please say hello to Sebastian Illustration. So Sebastian, I'm sure you had a blast on stream. And if there's anything, again, you want to share, please go ahead and do that. Thank you so much, Bench Guy. Appreciate that. Thank you, Sal. Warp Drive, Jason. Oh, Painterly, Git, and Crocodile is going to get one. Thank you so much for the gift subs there. Now, we have painted a whole bunch of Shatterpoint on stream. We've done these. Obviously, some of your classic ones there with your source lighting. We've done some other, well, here we got these. Where's, there we go. So we've done a whole bunch of these Shatterpoint stuff here on the stream. All kinds of different lighting effects, of course, because, well, lightsabers. Yeah, might have done one or two lightsabers. Here we got this one. And we also have some, remember the Mandos that we did right there? So yeah, we've done quite a few of these Shatterpoint figures here. Oh yeah, there's Dooku right there. Kind of a multiple light source. And speaking of multiple light sources there, again, look at that. Cast shadows, all that good stuff. Everybody please check out that Discord link that Sebastian just shared. And of course, please everybody give Sebastian a follow if you could. So thanks, Bench Guy. Tell you what, wouldn't mind having to go for an early refill on the medicine. So thank you so much for facilitating that, Bench Guy. Now, of course, here's some of the other ones that we did on stream last night. We actually did 4 of these, and there was also a wee bit of freehand as well on these, in addition to the source lighting right there. Thanks, Abadoo. Appreciate that. Abadoo says, yeah, let's drain that swamp right there so we can put some fresh medicine in that. Thranio, actually, Thranio, did you got a chance to see the Gandalf dice in action last night, I think, right? Because you were here pretty much from the beginning. So yeah, I think you got a chance to see that Gandalf dice get out there and get into action very early. You know what? Here, let me try to go with something that's a little... okay, there we go. Crazy, pink fingers, pink toes. on these little murder bears. And of course, Arda Michael, if you want to share anything in the chat, please go ahead and do that. Here, let me get some of the Indian. Oh, you know, this is something we haven't done yet. Holy smokes. Indian yellow and the Mars yellow deep. I haven't actually mixed those together yet. It's the first time we've seen those together. That's kind of nifty. Now, how's about some lighter greens here? Fine. We'll just take the Perline black. We'll mix it in with the radiant green, some of the yellow here just to warm it up, and let's have at this. So Bithra, oh, there's, what is his name? Yubnub? There's another box, actually. I forgot there's 2 boxes that have the Ewoks in them. So I have to get the Yubnub box. I mean, well, if we have this, we might as well get the Yubnub box too, right, Bithran? So there we go. Yeah, so Yubnub, that is a separate box. Obviously, he's kind of the boss of that box, kind of like she's the boss of this particular box. And even the stands of 3 Ewoks are a little bit different in the other box. So actually, Bithron, if you could shoot me a reminder to get that. Now, Zach, the Legion stuff is almost more, I almost want to say it's more like Lord of the Rings size, where it's more classic kind of 28 mil, whereas this is much bigger, at least 35 mil in scale. Boy, Horns fan, it's been so long since I've seen any of the movies that I'm really having to scrape the bottom of the memory barrel, let me tell you. I think the last time I might have seen Return of the Jedi was 30 years ago or something like that. And maybe in its entirety. So it's been a while. So I'm just I have some vague recollections of certain things. All I remember is that things not going too well with the droid. With C-3PO talking with them, he kind of messed up the negotiations a little bit. So yeah, I figured, Zach, they had to be almost tiny in comparison. It's a little weird, Zach, right? To, 2 totally separate gaming systems like that. Okay, this is the blending brush we were using last night. Everybody, please check out. There's Arda Michaels Ewoks right there. It's an Instagram link. And Arda Michael, you'll be streaming on just this name, right? You're not going to be doing a different name. So everybody, also too, please give Arda Michael a follow, because Arda Michael is hoping to start doing some streaming again. So everybody, please give Arda Michael a follow, so that should be all set when that begins once again. So doing the same name. I thought so. I just wanted to be sure. Of course, we had Steal It in the stream last night. That was very fun. My goodness, I think it's been over a year since last had Steal It in one of the streams. I'm going to try to get some lighter stuff here on some of the leaves. I'll get all of these little basing bits here from Make It Epic Basing. I'm going to try and maybe go a little warmer on the ferns and then maybe cooler on that. And then here we're going to try and do, well, maybe that pinstripe calathea plant just for fun there. I guess so, Valfira, I think what she has now is she is able to sell 3D prints. She has a bunch of licenses. So I think maybe she wanted to get out of the translation business and into the miniature business. So here's hoping that is very successful, of course. I guess she moved into Tokyo, so she doesn't have the... there's no more orange trees or trains or anything like that. But just as we talked about last night, Don Mateo still reigns supreme. So Bithron says that this one is Chirpa. Let's see, what is this one? Then Bithron, I guess, gee whiz, do these guys also have some names too? Now here's hoping all that stuff works out for you, Arda Michael. I know it is a challenge to get things ready for streaming, whether you're doing 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D, so it doesn't matter what you're doing. It is a challenge to get stuff ready for streaming. Now, let me indulge me here while I actually do look up the pinstriped Calthea reference, because I know Armored Wolf sent me pictures of that. Calthea. Let me add something to that. So actually, oh, that's right. A bunch of these are coming here, I think, by Wednesday. Some of the Calthea are going to arrive. That's going to kind of add it to Kathy's little garden there, because I think that is a plant that she might kind of enjoy. So we actually have some of our violet out here. We got the Egyptian violet. Where'd that go? There it is. So this should entertain Armored Wolf, because he really wanted me to add that pinstripe purple Calthea plant to the Lizardman basis. So we'll give that a try, and we'll see how that looks. This is the not radiant indigo that I'm adding to the violet here. Yeah, you know, this is kind of fun, actually, instead of this being just more green. Yeah, that's kind of fun. Nice to see you there, Lion Creative. So, Lion, if you want to share anything in the chat, please go ahead. And, of course, well, Sebastian, again, I hope that your stream was fabulous. I'm sure it was. Everybody, please give Sebastian Illustration a follow. Again, Sebastian, Armored Wolf right now is, he's moderating a tournament. And of course, Armored Wolf being Armored Wolf, even though he will be completely exhausted after an entire day of doing that, he will, I'm sure, try to rush back and try to do the moderations here as well. So yeah, Valfair, it would certainly be nice, because, well, it was always great to be able to raid Stila, because, well, we could just kind of continue the oil painting party, right? And conveniently enough, she would be streaming usually right around the time that I ended, I think. So here's hoping that picks up again. So Horns fan, he's doing this at a game store up there in Alaska. Same, he'll be doing, oh gosh, I think in the summer he has, maybe the late summer, he has that painting contest, the Ursa painting contest up there in Alaska. And that's another thing that he's got to, well, he has to judge and do all their kinds of stuff for that. So he really helps out this game store quite a bit. Okay, there we go. We got some purple on that. Oh yeah, I think we'll still do something like that here. Yeah. Now, actually, there is a type of oxalis. I guess there's multiple types that they refer to as purple clover. So it's not this one, I don't think. I don't think it's that one. But again, I have to That's something I got to start doing real soon, is taking the Psy-Cathys, and I'm going to be sculpting some Jiros, some Trunkos, some Babos, and also I think Sambo. Yeah, we'll sculpt Sambo as well. So I believe the 14th, if it's possible, I will try to be streaming on the 14th. Well, that's a Tuesday, so that will be an unusual day for streaming. We almost never stream on a Tuesday. Yeah, again, I think those are. Oh, wrong reference. I'm looking at the plant. Just trying to see if these are goggles or what the heck those things are. I really can't tell, unfortunately. I'm going to get some of the Mars Yellow Deep mixed with a little bit of the asphaltum here. Yeah, something like that. Maybe even some more of the lighter yellow on this. What the heck, why not? Let's go for it. Might even try to do some tropical feathers there. Oh, well, that's fabulous. There's and of course, Zach, again, if you want to talk about the classes that you'll be doing at ReaperCon, I know that's still a ways away, but we got to keep reminding folks that that is going to be happening later in the year. So we got to keep that top of mind for folks. All right, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this, and we're going to do, well, lighter than that. Adding that is the brilliant violet, not the radiant violet, but the brilliant violet. And that is going to get down into here. I think I'll use one of the micro blending brushes. That will be this guy here. Yep, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to use that as sort of a blending brush there. As always, less is more. More is way too much. And a hashtag no layers. Hopefully you can see, yeah, that there's some more yellowish light tones in some places. And then over here we've got more of the, again, that's a little bit more of the Terra Rosa there. How you doing there, Doji? So Doji, I'm sure, I know the bakery one was yummy yesterday. So thank you so much. Appreciate that, Doji. And of course, Doji, if you want to share your links in the chat, your board was looking fantastic. I kind of like the smaller hexes better there, Doji, if that makes any difference. And Doji, if you want to post it here and kind of ask folks what they think too. So one of the classes that Zach's going to be doing is weathering and rendering. And the tickets are available now. So yeah, oh well then, well Zach, yeah, every time you're in here, then I'm going to ask you to post a link to that if the tickets are available now. So yes, everybody, tickets are available now for some classes that Zach's going to be running at ReaperCon. That's going to be Labor Day weekend still as usual, right, Zach? Oh, there's a little teeth right there. Got to get that too. Yeah, Doji, I'll shoot you another message. It was a crazy day of, well, more weather. Also trying to get this basing video filmed. So yeah, we were basing 9 different Marvel Crisis Protocol figures and also stands. So it got a little boisterous today. So thank you so much for the sub there, Doji. Appreciate that. Again, all that makes a very big difference, especially with whatever that new program that they've got going on. Which I believe as long as we meet certain criteria, it's a 60-40 split instead of 70-30. Thank you so much, Mika. I appreciate that. Everybody, please give Mika Mino a follow. So, Mika, thank you so much for the raid. I hope that you are doing very well. We are having some fun here. I almost said hobbits because they're like hobbits in bear costumes there. So yes, 55 minutes ago these had no paint on them whatsoever, and we're using the same traditional oils that we used on our last stream where we were painting, well, some things like this right here. We actually painted this Wolf of Isengard and also some more of our Dunlendings. Thank you so much, Mika. I appreciate that. Along comes Ganny and says, so seriously, I gotta stop doing the pipeweed stuff because these halflings look like teddy bears. He's like, who are you calling a halfling? It's like, well, you are a halfling, right? It's like, no, man, I'm an Ewok. Okay, definitely gotta quit doing the pipeweed. Now, of course, it is safe for Gandalf to mention pipeweed, unlike all of our Dunlending streams, right? Because they are, well, they're the drug enforcement agents of Middle-earth. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so that's a middle of the road, but every time Gandalf blabbed his mouth about the pipeweed, this is what he rolled 3 times in a row. Yes, indeed. So, Tuba, thank you so much for being here. So yeah, we've done an awful lot of Shatterpoint stuff. We've done quite a bit of that over the course of the last year, pretty much about the last year or so. In fact, almost everything there is, maybe with the exception of about 2 or 3 of the boxes, we've done almost everything. That's kind of wild to think, just how much of this Shatterpoint stuff we've actually done. There's Dooku, and we also have some of these. These are what, the Inquisitors, I think. Yeah, so some cast shadows and such. So yeah, plenty of fun Shatterpoint stuff that we've done on the channel here. And here's, you can kind of get a look at how we altered the bases here. So, well, normally, yeah, this is how all the bases are. It's just basically deck plating. They would literally be just trees sticking out of deck plating. So I said, well, how's about we actually add some trees of our own? Thanks for doing that clip there, Bithron. And of course, everybody please check out the link that Zach posted. Velfair, I don't think they're very amused at all. That's for sure. So thank you so much. Appreciate the raid. Here, let's bring that back out here. So Skelly B, how you doing? Of course, thank you so much for the raid. Everybody please give Skelly B a follow. Nice to see you again, War Squirtle. Welcome back. So we're painting with traditional oil paints here. Let's see if we can get our... here's our big 3. Thank you so much, Kat. I appreciate that follow. So does Gandalf. Williamsburg, Gamlin, Windsor Newton. These two, price and quality, almost identical. This, pricier, but when it says it does say handmade on there, that's legit. And it is very, very, very good stuff. Thank you so much, Kat. I appreciate that follow. Okay, so I've seen a lot of weird stuff in Fangorn Force. Hey, who you calling weird? It's like, but nobody. Nobody. It's like, I don't see anybody else here but me. Dude, that's kind of harsh. It's like, well, never saw a teddy bear wandering around Fangorn Forest before. I have a stick too, I may not have a kitchen utensil, but I'm gonna bonk you on the head if you say that again. So thank you so much for that follow, Kat. Appreciate that. And as Abadu says, the Williamsburg stuff is worth the price. Now, should the Gandalf dice? What's that? Again, there's no Dunlendings out here, so no Dunlendings. He's doing pretty well. Again, and here's our recent, speaking of object source lighting. It was only a few weeks ago that we did our stream-iversary. This was our 4th stream-iversary, another Wapelius Spellbrush. And of course, we have some chapters of the Book of Wapel right there. Contrast is more than just light versus dark. So yes, several books of Wapel out there. And of course, a little bit of object source lighting. sort of like the miniature Dorian Gray. And here's another one of our recent streams. We will be getting back to our Shmoom Kings there for sure. And Kat, if you want to share anything in the chat, please go ahead. And same thing, Skelly B. So Skelly B, again, I hope that you're doing fantastic. I'm sure that you are. And of course, Skelly B, you want to share anything in the chat, please go on ahead. Do that. I know you just finished your stream, so you might have to ski-daddle off to the photo booth. Now, this is pretty funny here. We're kind of doing the same thing with his eyes that we were doing. Where's some of our Wolves of Isengard here? Nope, not that one. Not this one. Maybe this one here. Where is he? Okay, yeah. Yes, he always kind of looking down at this guy, and this guy's sort of like looking up at the wolf, go, oh, this is not going to end terribly well for me. So we've been doing an awful lot of Wolves of Isengard too. Like, hey, negative charisma, how you doing? So this is one of the ones we painted last night. Again, a little bit of freehand, I mean, a little touch there. And, of course, a little bit of object source lighting. And, oh, and a casualty. Had all the goodies on there. Hey, Senpei, everybody please check out the Instagram link that Senpei just posted. So, negative charisma, I know you got something that you can share, because I saw it on either the Instagrams or on the Facebooks. I think it was the Instagrams. So, yeah, negative charisma, if you want to share that, please go ahead. You know what, this I think is probably supposed to be some kind of a obsidian or a stone dagger or something like that. So it's Morty. So everybody please check out the link that Senpai posted. And of course, again, negative charisma. If you want to share something in the chat, please go right ahead. Do that. So this is, I forget what the name of this particular box is, but we were just doing a basing video on this today. Obviously, we added some more bits to that, because otherwise she's basically standing on a tiny little twig on a deck plating base. So again, I guess they're not weeding very much on the star base or on the Death Star or something like that. But yeah, we decided that, yeah, we're going to do a little something different. Yeah, we're not going to have a tree sticking out of a deck plating base. So here we went all out. Tree bark, basing bits, tree that make it epic. Zabevka on the big piece. Goon Master Games on the small pieces there. And of course, Doji, if you want to share your stuff, please go ahead and do that too. What are we at? About 40 minutes or about an hour? 1 hour and 3 minutes ago, these guys had no paint on them at all. This is a figure from last night, start to finish, 36 minutes. The source lighting, the metals, the freehand, everything, 36 minutes. Everybody check out that link that Negative Charisma just posted. So Negative Charisma, thank you so much for posting that. Negative Charisma, I hope that, again, everything's going fantastic. Now, with these feathers here, I'm going to try it. Let me get some phthalo green out here. I'm going to get the phthalo green out because then we can maybe do some something more colorful with the feathers. 1 second here. Negative charisma, sorry that that is always... And speaking of things that just come out of nowhere, that's always one of those things, right? Negative charisma. So here's hoping that that can be kind of resolved very quickly with no extra hassles. Get a little more of that phthalo green over here. Where's that? Again, maybe some kind of tropical bird feathers here. Maybe we'll get some blue into that. Oh, some Prussian blue. Let's try that too. Some Prussian blue here. Into that. So Dark Horse, well, I tell you, it really does come down to how efficient the oils make you. The oils really enhance the efficiency by orders of magnitude. Alright, a little more of the Prussian blue on those feathers. Now, let me see if I can go even. Here, they got some of the radiant green maybe and the Indian yellow. Let's see what that does. So sort of a blue to yellowish green transition on these feathers here. Just for funsies. Yeah, negative charisma as always. I do suggest those color charts. I mean, we just did some new ones. We just did a color theory and oils video, right? And that also had the color charts included. Now that's gonna be a cooler green there. This I'm gonna go maybe a little warmer green. That's not one of the Monstera plants. This is also from Make It Epic Basing. Let me get some more light green on that. And of course, all of that's going to get the usual sort of greenery. Well, maybe not so much with the flowers, but this was just as basically flat gray as what we have here. But you can see all the green flock and everything. So yeah, we'll be adding a bunch of that to this base once that is dry. Yeah, I'm going to throw a little bit more of this, get some more of the fast matte white down into our lightest greens here, because reasons. Get that on some of our plants here. So these are from Make It Epic Basing. I think all of these are. On some of the other figures, we've got Goon Master Games basing bits. Some of them have Zabevka. And there's other companies that are not quite part of my memory banks yet, so eventually I try to remember some of those other ones too. Get some of that lighter stuff here. There you go. So yeah, again, maybe even with the oil paints, maybe your first figure is just two colors, one light and one dark. And if you choose the right light and dark color, it almost looks like a moonlight scene. So it's not like you're just, oh, I'm just doing a black and white miniature and it's not going to be usable for anything. Maybe use something like indigo and brilliant yellow pale for your light, and you might have something that looks an awful lot, again, like moonlight. So Skelly B, again, if you want to share anything in the chat, please go ahead, do that. That would be fabulous as always. And of course, appreciate the raid too. So yeah, this is a little bit different from what we've been painting the last few streams. Not quite Wolves of Isengard, not any casualties on the bases. Yeah, a little different vibe to it. And who knows, maybe I would try to do a surprise stream on Sunday, and maybe we do one of these stands right here. That is a mix of Make It Epic, Zabevka, and Goon Master Games. Kind of going back to the Perline Black here, so that this maybe it's a little bit more of a cooler green to it. Hey there, Armored Wolf. I hope that the tournament ended up going well. It sounds like it. I guess you could call it a success, right? So everybody say hello to Armored Wolf. Did I not say that Armored Wolf is going to have to moderate an entire tournament and then come back here and moderate this because Armored Wolf, speaking of machines there, Armored Wolf is a machine. So here, Armored Wolf, I was desperately trying to get these this tutorial video done so that we could get these on stream. So see you in a little bit there, Doji. Again, happy Sunday to you. This is actually almost the same combo that we did use on our Dunlendings here with the Perline Black and the Ice Blue. You get a little bit more of that light here. You can always break out the blending brush tool if we feel like we need that. Of course, any brush can be a blending brush. It's actually in the book of Wapple there too. You know what? I'm going to lighten up some of this some more down here. Yeah. And this too. Like that. So great to see you there, Armored Wolf. Maybe try and throw a little more light on the underside of this here. Maybe something there. Nothing too crazy there. Again, both of these guys, no paint on them 1 hour 12 minutes ago. Now, and of course, Armored Wolf here. Look, it's I was trying this out because you sent me the reference to that one plant there. So we got a purple leaf plant there, which obviously will show up, I think, even more once we have all the greenery around it. Now, let me start doing this guy here with. Let's try the asphaltum, some of the Mars Yellow Deep to get started here. Like that. And yeah, I guess we'll do the same kind of pink fingers on him that we did on the other teddy bear. I might even wander over here to the it's the Hansa Yellow Deep there. And we'll do some fur texture up here, also here. We'll try and get some of the reddish brown in here too, so we might be taking some of our Rosa, mix that with something that's light, and throw a few hairs of that in here too. Because remember this one, even here, remember we had initially the fur was a bit cooler, then we went with some of the warmer colors into that. I don't want this to be too super light. Actually, you know what? Here, let me get also a little bit of our red into that too. Trying to figure out what some of these things are. Some of their little decor is that they're wearing here. So it's all done there, land dressed. Hopefully everybody's reasonably happy and satisfied with their session. And of course, land dressed, that unit's looking really good. It's just kind of keep plugging along, right? Getting closer and closer to the Bretonians being done. Then you can start working on that 10,000 point Tomb King's army. I was at a 12,000 point. I couldn't remember what you said you wanted that to be. Then there was the Chaos Army that you were going to work on too. Let me get some more of this later stuff down here. Because you certainly weren't going to let M-Toys have the only Tomb King's army in the group. That's for sure. Let's see. So Zach says 10 million points. Over in, you know what? Here, let me get a little bit of the yellow into this, and hopefully that's enough of the red. I think so. Let's break it down a little more. Not turn it into a pinline wash, by the way. You can get some of the more pinkish stuff here on the feet and on the hands. Fingers here. I might still keep going with more of the lighter yellow here. Let me try this. The asphaltum and some of... Yeah, let me just go with the fast matte white and some of the asphaltum. Let me see what that's going to do. That does make a nice skin tone for sure. These guys got some serious chompers on them. I'm sure much like their hobbit buddies, they probably like first and second breakfast. Where's that mic? There's the micro blending brush. I'll just think, let me see if I can get him some lighter eyes as well. Smidge of that Hansa yellow deep with our fast matte white here. Gotta break that down enough, but not too much, because that's a pinline wash. That will just fill up that whole eye socket, and that's definitely not what we're looking for. Alright, there's the one. There's the other. Feathers here. I'll just start with that for right now. So great to see you again there, Landrast. So Landrast, yeah, I'm contemplating maybe trying to do a surprise stream tomorrow. If I said for sure, it wouldn't be much of a surprise, would it? So it remains a mystery even to me, pretty much until this time tomorrow night. It will be a complete unknown as to whether there will be a surprise stream or not. So that is mixing again. We did the usual thing lately, right, where we brown primer, dark brown primer. We do the dry brushy stuff over the top of that, right, and then do some glazy things, and then come back with the lighter midtones and such. See if we can find a couple little lighter fur colors here on this little Ewok, because reasons. Let's do some of that here. I don't know. You know what? I want to get a little bit of a bluishness on the dealer. So let me take this. We got... That's our not radiant, radiant indigo. Start to throw some of the light in here. We will snag Mr. Blending Brush 2. And we're just going to chuck some of this out here. Again, hashtag no layers. There we go. Just start letting that do some blendy stuff here, because that's what the oils do very well. got going on up here? Oh, maybe a little bit over there too. I might, at some point here, we will take a quick little, just to replenish the medicine like we had to do last night. Because we did have ourselves a hype train, and we did have, we had some bitses and some gift subs and such, courtesy of Inch Guy and some other allies there, Horns Fan too. Some members of the Linseed Brotherhood. Okay, now starting to throw a little bit of light here on his shirt. Whatever he's wearing. Again, they wear shirts, but they don't wear any pants, so that is a bit suspicious. Steven, how you doing? So, Steven, hopefully you got the links. I believe was it earlier today or last night that I sent those? So, thank you very much. Appreciate that, too. Well, I was just filming yet another video, and that's what these were part of. Yet another basing Shatterpoint video. So again, Steven, great to see ya. What is that? I get a little, whatever sticking through his shirt, tunic, whatever you want to call it. Now, Steven, again, that, it's funny because, remember I was telling you about how I've got the, basically the carpal tunnel syndrome little pad that I've got under the elbows here, and how we kind of construct a little tripod thing for our fingers and hands and such. I sort of need to do a similar thing for the other station. I just realized my other filming station does not have one of those elbow pad, or one of those little anti-carpal tunnel syndrome pads. So I got to get me one of those. And I was actually talking about that. Oh, the other thing I might do is a quickie little video on this new area that I've been quite literally trying to build for almost a year. So basically around 11 months or so I've been trying to construct this other filming area, and it's undergone many changes. Where's my green here that we're going to throw on some of these ferns here? Start doing that a little bit here. So again, this is one of those from Goon Master Games. I remember I didn't even have a chance today with all the craziness to even look to see if that Slan Mage Priest on Engines of the Gods actually printed out or not. Something did print out, I don't know how effective it was. But my guess is that it's probably all fine. But you know how the 3D printing goes, you never really know until you actually get to see it. Just trying to work in a little bit here of our lighter green. And oh, that's right, here I remember if I had to print a whole bunch more of the, speaking of Goon Master Games basing bits, there's a bunch more of the jungle ones that I need to print out. I will try to set up that build plate for tonight. Let me throw this over here. Like so. I was at the Revenge of the Fifth. That's what the surprise stream would be tomorrow. Let me try and get a little bit of the lighter green down here. Just take the blending brush to that. Doing that here. And we could always come back and do some more glazy stuff on that. Let me grab some of that. That's our fast matte white. Again, I'm going to try and maybe go red or violet or something like that on that plant, just so we have something a little different. Now getting some of the lighter green on our ferns here. Like so. There. Also there. And now let's do some lighter stuff on this fern here. We did the darker brown primer. Then we did the dry brush stuff all around. And then we did a bunch of glazes and pin line washes. None of that is dry, but it all has set, and that's why we're able to kind of get in here and work with these midtones and lighter colors very easily. So everybody welcome in Armored Wolf. Again, Armored Wolf is pretty tired from having to deal with the tournament all day and well into the evening there. I might go with the same violet on this plant, and that was with a pinstriped Calthea. And actually, yeah, Armored Wolf, I think it's Wednesday, so the plants are supposed to arrive, so we'll, again, try to work those into that little garden area there best as we can. Here, let's do some of that, some of this here. So Steve, some of them are like this one and this one. That's Make It Epic Basing. These two are from Goon Master Games. And then the trees that you've been seeing on the Princess Leia one and the other Ewoks, those are from Zabevka. And there's now a bunch of other companies too that have been getting some of their basing bits nowhere near as universally, say, as Make It Epic and Goon Master. Some of those are more specialty bits, really. So yeah, here's again that tree right there. That's from Zabevka. We've used that a bunch of times. Where's little Legolas? Where's he at? No, that's not him. That's not him. Is this? There he is. So there's little Leggy. Speaking of hobbitses, so again, that's one of those Zabevka trees again. Again, throwing some lighter green here on this foliage where we can. More here. I gotta get some on this leaf as well. There we go. So yeah, when you print these things out, one thing I've learned, well, especially with the version 2 gray resin, you've got to just cure them with the supports on, and then take them off as best as you can after the fact. Because remember, you cannot use a wash and cure station with any of the Soraya simple resin. That is a nada right there. Cannot do that. This is our again, not radiant indigo. To catch a few more later tones on this. Again, they wear shirts and hoods, but no pants. That's an interesting fashion choice right there. I'll also try to get the some of the bluish colors on the feathers, like we did on the other guy. Let me try some of our violet here again on these leaves. So in some ways a little bit like our oxalis plants there. Just going to throw a little bit of the violet out there. And then we start to maybe lighten it up a little bit here. The brilliant violet mixed with the Egyptian violet here. So yeah, this is gonna be really nifty for the lizardman armored wolf, having this the wild purple coloration on the leaves here. So thanks for spotting that. It's really kind of another form of oxalis in a way, or poinsettia, I guess. Because they're all kind of in that same sort of genre. Again, a little bit of that lighter violet there on these leaves, and now we can maybe still go a little lighter than that as well. Not too insanely light with it, but I think we can still go a little lighter with that. Here, that's again mostly the brilliant violet now. Alright, there on the end of the, I almost said branch, on the end of the leaves. There. So yeah, Lion Creative, well, I have the curing box. I have that rotates things around and hits it with the UV light in all directions, but if you use the wash and cure machine with any of the Soraya simple resins, they will all crack and essentially explode, because they have to be absolutely bone dry before you cure them. Especially anything that's hollowed. Hard lessons learned there. It even says it right on the jug in a very weird secretive place. You would think it would kind of say in big gigantic letters right on the front, do not use wash and cure stations. Or, I don't even have one, but yeah, don't try to cure this while it is wet. But no, that was not part of the instructions, sadly. Now we got some more of the lighter yellow here. Let me see if this will, yeah, that's going to give me some decent lights on the furs here. Also here, I don't want to go too light with this, because then the, well, tunic won't necessarily look like it has too many lights on it. I try and go a little bit lighter some parts on the face here. Might even try to get the chompers a little lighter. Like you do. And try to work a little bit of the yellow into the eyes there. And start breaking down some of my fast matte white as well. like this. We'll find a few more things that are going to be like maybe again, some of the little chompers there. Maybe these little tusks or teeths or whatever those are. Oh yeah, those are the feathers, so we won't mess with those. Want to bring basically some of the bluish turquoise into those. So yeah, Lion Creative, I used the Soraya Simple. Well, of course, now they call it. They never used to call it water washable, but now they call it water washable. But I can use the 70% alcohol with it, just regular old grocery store stuff. So it cuts down on some of the fragrance and such, and it's definitely much more easily available, that's for sure. And of course, it is more weatherproof. It's like supposed to be one of the most temperature unsensitive resins out there. And when you have places where things can change 30 degrees in an hour, well, that becomes kind of important. So there we go. Getting again a little bit of the highlights in a couple of spots there. Try and get the nails on him too. We'll to come back with some dark, I think, as well in some places. Touch lighter with the fur, maybe in a couple of spots. That feather. Where's the Prussian blue? Some of that, some of the phthalo green for a bit of a turquoise. And I might even go back to the other one and give that a little more of the turquoise here. Come on, there we go. So we do not have the, yeah, that's not the, as we call it, was it the, not Terra Cobalt, it's the Teal-Kata. Yeah, we don't have Teal-Kata out there. So, and maybe a little bit more of the turquoise. So 1 hour 38 minutes ago, both of these wee little bears had no paint on them whatsoever. In fact, it was only a few hours ago that they were still just, they were part of a basing video with no primer on them, much less paint. I think these really weren't officially actually on a base till probably about maybe 5 hours ago max. Just putting a little bit of that phthalo green on the leaves there too. That's an interesting little difference that makes. See if we can give this guy some eyeballs here. Just go take some of the Mars back, a little bit of the indigo. That'll be nice and dark. We'll break that down. To give him the top of the eye there. So yeah, that is an angry little teddy bear right there. That is one angry little teddy bear. Let's throw a couple of darks here around the fingers. We'll be coming back with some of our pinkish stuff there too. You know what? We need to get some of the orangey brown in there. We don't have a whole bunch of that. There's some, also a little bit of fur texture, because fur. Some more over here. Touch more of the light. Yeah, okay, let's grab some of this. And there we are. That has got a little bit more of the Hansa yellow in it. Especially up there. I mean, that's that would catch more of the light up here anyways. Definitely not the lightest color that we could use. But we always try to hang on to little bits and pieces of that. Right, we don't want to just start, oh, here's some white, let's boom. No, we want to actually, when in doubt, make things darker. You know what, here, we need to make something a little bit more towards the pinkish side there. So I want to take the red, that's the perline red, tint that definitely here. That's a bit more towards the pink right there, because that's what I'm seeing for the fingers and also the feet and toes. Again, they're like extra furry hobbits. They're like, if hobbits were furries, then that's, I guess, what these guys are. Where's whoops, too much of that Indian yellow here. That's going into this green, phthalo green. Indian yellow. It's got a little bit of the white in there too for some opacity, because phthalo green, Indian yellow are two extremely translucent colors. Maybe I will get some of that up here on, well, whatever that is. A little bit of our fast matte white to perhaps lighten it up some more on the end of that feather here. Any other? Oh yeah, on this side. Now that's going to be very, very light green. Maybe I don't know about that light, but here we go. Okay. I suppose it works over there. A little too much on that, maybe. Alright, I think we need to thin that down a little. Yeah, that's kind of what it was. We had to thin that down. Thin sticks too thick, and of course, vice versa. Now, this thing, I will take. Okay, fine. We have some of our Van Dyke brown and some of our lighter green. Some of that, some of the, no, here's some of this. Trying to find maybe a little wood grain in addition to just some general light there on this staff. Whatever it is that he's got here. So, yeah, a little light down there, a little light over here. me see if I can get to some lighter greens on the plant. So less than 2 hours ago, those well, these guys had nothing on them, no color, no nothing. Let me see. I might just here. Let me see if I can go even lighter here with his fur. Just breaking down that some of the brilliant violet there. It's not our fast matte white. Maybe look at the top of that belt or whatever that is. Should probably put a little reflection on that dagger or whatever that's supposed to be. More of our light there on the fur. Same thing up here. We'll have to do some of the light, then we'll have to come back, I think, yeah, with some of the darks on that. For sure. I'll see. I'm gonna maybe see if I can't work some of this lighter stuff here on the leather in this area. Yeah, it has that sort of was it using the flint tool kind of a thing, or a flint dagger? Flint can be mighty sharp, nothing to mess around with. That'll make an opening in you right quick. That's why we wanted to get that sort of darker blue-ish, almost obsidian type of a thing on it. What's happening up here on this? Maybe, well, same thing there. That's probably also a bit of stone, kind of almost like a stone axe type of a thing on the end of his little stick here. And they are like hobbits is because they also set booby traps. I don't know if it's only the Hobbit Legendary Legion that has the booby trap, or if the regular Hobbit army also gets the traps. That is going to get mixed up with our Perline red again to make kind of a lighter pinkish color here. Yeah, I'm gonna get that turquoise again. Grab some of the turquoise here. Yeah, those. Okay, that I think makes a little more sense with these feathers up here. Having even more of that turquoise. Might even throw some of that down here on this. That's not the Monstera plant. That's might be one of the Monsteras over there. And we'll do some darks here. Oh yeah, around this tooth or whatever that's supposed to be. Alright, now we'll see if we can go back to this lightest light here on the face, especially right over the eyes, around the eyes here, around his mouth, maybe even, no, that was a little too ambitious there. So I'm gonna maybe take the some of the red, some of the violet. Maybe lighten that up to like so. So again, I think, well, yeah, before a surface tension wanders in here, I think I'm gonna try and get a little bit of replenishment. Yes, indeed, we're gonna try and replenish our supply of medicine, so that we can do the rest of our Ewoks here. Again, that's not even 2 hours in right there. So don't go away. We shall return. Again, just gonna replenish some medicine and a few other things, and we shall be right back. We'll get right back into this. We'll get right back into this. Maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna try a couple of little different directions. Maybe oh well, okay. That actually has some of our Pearline Crimson in there. That's fine. I don't know. Maybe I should have done Pearline Crimson for the feathers. that's a nice little contrast right there. A little bit of fuzz on the brush, just had to get rid of that. Maybe we'll throw some of that up here too, just because. And then maybe we'll do that around some of the fingers here, especially where it kind of meets the fur. We can do some more of our lights on this guy. The other one, already we've done pretty much with the light. I have to kind of go back in the other direction on this guy here. So again, that's the Perline Crimson. That is a very dark color. Also, it's on the pricey side. Usually with the oils, we're kind of going for things that maybe don't have a super high price tag. Now these are, what would you say, almost meant to go luxury colors, but these are colors like the Perline Crimson. There's things you could use to sort of make a thing that's close to it. It'll never actually be the Perline Crimson, but again, you don't say, oh my gosh, that's it's like a $30 color or something. You don't necessarily have to get things like that. There's plenty of other really nifty colors, well, like Indigo, Terrarosa, Perline Black, Mars Black, Prussian Blue, even Phthalo Green, Phthalo Blue. Those are not expensive colors. I actually started to throw a little bit of that onto his, again, leather, whatever that is here. Maybe even a little bit on the tree. I want to try something here. Well, first I'm going to do this. That is, speaking of the red there, let's just see how this works. Yeah, you know what? I think that is good. Down in here. Something like that. Okay, good up here. A little more of that down here on the fur. Let me try this now. So this will be almost sort of more magenta almost. Yes. Okay, so this that's what we'll be doing a lot of our lizard man fern plants. I gotta print out a whole bunch of these again because we used up a fair amount of them on our I almost called them hobbitses here on our beer hobbitses. Yeah, that works. That's kind of a nifty thing. So instead of just the green, that certainly looks at, and when we put the greenery around it, that's really going to look interesting. So I will do the same on this one too. Why not? We shall begin again with the Perline Crimson. There. And then we'll get that lighter magenta-ish red in here next. So we're going to get that out of the brush. Let's try this. Maybe even a teensy bit lighter, perhaps. Oh, there's a whole bunch of junk on the end of that brush. Now, somebody please check out the Instagram link that Bitron just shared. So yeah, Bitron, there's it's really crazy that, you know, for these bases here for Shatterpoint, there's literally just the same texture over and over and over again for everything. Even if there's supposed to be a tree sticking out of it, And it's weird because they kind of, they give you the tree slash plant whatever, but they're still giving you the same stupid sci-fi base to put it on. It really does not make any sense to me. Especially since for MCP, right, they've got so many different base types. And like you were telling me, that obviously they've got their tactical rocks too that they're sitting on. Let me try a little bit more than maybe some of the yellow on this base. Oh, thanks, Mom. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. And again, glad that you are doing a whole lot better. That is much appreciated. So thanks, Mom. It really does make a big difference. Especially since, well, we've torn through that latest bottle of our printing resin, so... And right now, they just happen to be... This is the lowest price that I've ever seen for it. And obviously it will go back up, so that gives me a chance to take advantage of that and just snag it while it's at this low price here. So thank you so much, Mom. Hey there, Sarge. So how you doing there, Sarge? And of course, Sarge, you want to post any of your Harbinger or whatever, and I know you can't quite do the miniature stuff right now. So it is the same with MCP there, Bitron. Boy, it's been so long since I last put together any of that stuff. I mean, it's been a real long time there. So, Sarge, thank you so much for the shamrocks. Appreciate that. Well, and glad that the bird family is doing well. And, well, hopefully things are at least sort of holding steady for you there. Where are we at here with this? I'm going to keep going just a little more there. So this is just tree bark that this is sitting on here. We mixed up our homemade texture paste. That was also part of the video. Nothing terribly secret about it. It's tile grout and wood glue. That is our texture paste here. And I really, 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 really like that stuff. I don't think I'll ever be buying texture paste ever again, because I can quite literally mix it as I need it to what consistency that I need. Yeah, Sarge, there's been... Well, that's what nuked the stream here on Thursday. I think it was Kathy's mom said something about 23 inches of rain in Texas, but obviously Texas covers quite a bit of territory. So I wasn't sure if that was in your area. So yeah, even tonight there was more of that. That's what delayed the stream. That's why we're only 2 hours in instead of 3 hours in. So great to see you there, Sarge. Where's my other one? Yeah, here, let's do some of the same stuff on here. So we got some more rocks and such over here. Let's get some of that. And of course, Sarge, if you want to share the Harbinger of Decay, the Cavalier, please go ahead and do that. And Sarge, I'm really excited about your Tigray there. That's going to be a really fun project, and I can't wait to see some work in progress images of that. Hey there, M-Tellies, how you doing? So M-Tellies, great to see ya. M-Tellies, I hope that, well, I don't know if you were at the Shea Landras there, taking part in the D&D exercise. Yeah, M-Tellies, I had no idea. It wasn't until literally during the stream last night, everybody's talking about May the 4th and everything. And I thought, well, let me see if maybe I can do something. So yeah, Sarge, that's pretty much what hit here. Except that was in just a matter of minutes. So that didn't go too well. Hey, MTOs, if you wanted to share your Star Wars fig that you just did, that would be great too. Yeah, why don't you do that? Thanks, Dark Horse. It was quite the mad day today. It was very much non-stop, that's for sure. Well, yesterday was, and of course, well, the day before that was. I was just very glad to be able to. I was wondering if tonight's stream also was going to get nuked too, but it didn't quite get the double dip like we did on Thursday. Now, this has got a fair amount of our lighter stuff in it here. Sarge, well, I can definitely understand how you're trying some different things, right, Bithron? I know you've kind of switched back and forth on some things just to make sure that the hobby mojo keeps on going. So that was directed at me. There's no kids here. I'm the last person in the house again here. There is me and just me. Now let's get to a little more. Yeah, okay, fine. We'll get to some of this Hansa yellow deep here. A little touch of it there. That would be absolutely fabulous if that happened there, Starch. And of course, that's kind of the goal, right? Just to do a little something different. I mean, really, here I'm constantly doing different things. Now, this is certainly very different from what we were painting last night, that's for sure. So everybody check out the link that MTelly's just posted there. Actually, MTelly's, if you have any kind of events going on at the game castle there in Santa Clara, just and you want to post anything there in the chat about that, future events or maybe streams you might be doing. Yeah, Sarge, and maybe the fact that it's 1/35 scale, so a little bit bigger, and also trying to match something that is well, obviously something that you and I could be walking around in. That might be easier than something like this, right? A crazy no pants teddy bear running around with a stick. So that might just be the thing. So sorry you weren't able to do the little shindig at the Shea Landras there, M-Tellies. I want to see if I can't get me a little bit of something in here. Also there. A little dark there. What's going on here? We'll get some of that. A little more dark in the ears. I don't know. Let's see what happens with that too. Perline black. So that's our super dark green. That is not black. This used to be a printer's ink many years ago. Then it became, well, an artist color of all things. Let me get a little more of my... Yeah, a little thinner into that. We're going to get a little separation here on some of the fern leaves. Again, these are from Make It Epic Basing, and then these other two bits, those are from Goon Master Games. Yeah, Dark Horse, unfortunately, Kathy got sick right around, basically, yeah, this time in 2022, and unfortunately, not too far from this time in 2023, that came to an end that none of us were hoping for, that's for sure. So that is why on the 14th we will be doing a special stream. At least that is the goal. I'm hoping to be able to do that special stream on the 14th. And I will try to, again, get one of the Kathy tribute figures and try to sculpt at least a Jiro, Trunko, and Bobo for that, but maybe, again, a few other of the ugly dolls and such. Hey, there's Surface Tension. Nice to see ya. As always, so Surface Tension, you want to share your links down in the chat, please go ahead. Here's hoping that you feel a little bit better than you did yesterday. So Donkey, these are just trying to use them as a sort of instructional thing. So earlier tonight, we were filming a tutorial video on how to do all the basing with these. Right, same thing here. Here's another one there. So, and then we also film videos, basically painting Shatterpoint videos. I think this was, this was one, our latest painting Shatterpoint here was this one. So we also use them for tutorial videos for painting. So I think I've done at least, oh gosh, a dozen to 13 tutorial vids. Everybody please check out the again, that Mastodon link that Surface Tension posted. So yeah, Surface Tension. Everybody was talking about May the 4th be with you. Now Valfera was saying that what about Revenge of the 5th? So I think I'll maybe try to get some primer on this one or something like that, and we'll try to paint that. Now I'm glad that you're doing better there, Surface Tension. Gonna get me some of the lining there, a little more here. I'm gonna try once again for the really, really, really lightest stuff here. So he has Surface Tension very different than what we were just painting at this time last night, is it not? Yeah, you can't really get much more different than that. I'm gonna try and do this. I also have one of these smaller Kathy Goblin figures that we might be doing there. Yeah, Denethor. I wonder what folks will be doing then. But yeah, I had no idea this whole May the 4th thing until people kept saying it in the chat. I'm thinking, what in the world are they talking about? Unfortunately, these boxes had come in, and again, because of the craziness on Thursday, I was actually assembling these. So they were actually all set and ready to go. Surface tension, they are psychotic hobbits, so I think it would totally be legit. And actually, yes, surface tension, you've missed some of the Gandalf interactions. Oh yeah, some of the Gandalf interactions have definitely indicated that these are some pretty psychotic hobbits is here. Who knows, maybe this is the jungle version of Pipeweed right here. It's possible, right? I'm gonna try and get me a couple little lights on the end of the fern leaves here if I can, maybe. Something like that. I don't think we want to do too much lighter stuff there. Try and get a little more light on this leaf or on the outside there. These are definitely some crazy furry some crazy furry hobbits is there. We'll try to lighten up a little bit of that too. What about the edge of this leather stuff here? That tooth. You know, we've got this. Let me try to do. You know what? Let me just see if it might even make a difference here. We've got our cobalt teal bluish. Don't tell Doji that we snuck some of this out on the palette there. Alright, we'll throw some of this out. I don't know if it's going to really make any sort of difference. However, we'll just throw it. Well, that was actually even more than I was wanting to get out there. Alright, we'll just throw that back in here. This is the other nice thing about Williamsburg is all their paints come in these things right here. Actually, the Richardson paints, if you get more than one, they actually, if you get 3 of them, there's even a special Richardson box, sorry. They kind of can sometimes look like the Williamsburg from a distance. So yeah, these also actually will have their own special box there. I just want to see. This is a little interesting thing. Will this make a difference? Yes, it does. Oh yeah, sure enough that does. Yeah, that's even that's elevated way above the phthalo green. Now, interesting about that, it kind of does the same thing, say, like our cadmium scarlet did, where it actually was technically a darker color than what's around it, but it actually ended up looking lighter just by virtue of the intensity of the color. So yeah, that definitely. Here, let's put some of that on this side too. Wow, that makes a big difference there. Now, of course, that is a Series 7. That's one of those. It will be. You'll have to pay out some coin for that. Now, MTO is actually, were you able to do some stuff? I know because you had your Tomb Kings as well that you've been working on. So hopefully you've been able to do a little bit on those too. Let me see if this actually makes a more intense green. That's the Indian yellow and the cobalt teal. I think it does actually. Yeah, I think that sort of does a little bit. Alright, let's get the other one out here. That will go here. Oh, that's another leaf right there. I didn't even see that one. Not that leaf of feathers, sorry. Okay, that's back to our warmer green. Like so. Let me see if we just take some of the... That's the Hansa yellow light. To put in these little feathers here. Again, that's what's not all just the turquoise. Let me try some of that over here too. Like this. Let me try to get some of the lighter stuff on his, well, his sweatshirt here. Again, wears a sweatshirt without any pants. Questionable fashion choices. That would be fantastic there, M-Toys. So Doji, we did break out the one true turquoise, and believe it or not, it actually made it so even the and it did prove a bit of a point there. So it made a difference, even with the Salo green and Prussian blue. It was head and shoulders way more intense than that. So really made a big difference there, Doji. So thank you so much, Fly Fisher. Appreciate that. So seriously, I think I gotta stop doing the pipe weed. Because, is it just me or the hobbits are cosplaying teddy bears? It's like, I can hear you. This is not good. Shireweed might not be good for your cognitive abilities. Who would have thought? Now, he did mention Shireweed, so what's going to happen here to our Gandalf dice? Let's see what happens here. Uh-oh. You see that? He blabbed his mouth about the Shireweed. Look what he just did. Which means, aha. I heard something about Shireweed. Gotta go burn that down. Well, actually, I think that's the Dunlending's job. Yeah, that's what they do. They're the drug enforcement agents in Middle-earth. Now, MTO, that's right, because you got the big starter box, right? So you have the actual dragon. I think that base, well, usually that was a square, but that's not a square base anymore, right, MTO is? It's kind of a rectangle-ish type base. Yeah, I think it's a rectangle now. Trying to get some of the lightest light on the edge of the cloth here, or whatever that is. Okay, I'm not sure if those are little rocks or what those are supposed to be. Thanks for doing that clip again there, Bithron. Appreciate that, as always. Let's see if we can't throw a little light here to... Okay, that's a little better. We're missing his little fingernails there. I'll try to lighten that up too. So it is like a rectangle. Okay. Yeah, when I did mine, I did it as a 100mm square, because it was like the Cetra base. Didn't just didn't know. Actually, this run, I thought I was printing out some bases for the Great Beast of Golgoroth. What I ended up actually printing out was a couple of Mumok bases. So, and I actually have 2 Mumoks printed out, so that actually works out fairly well. Because now I already have the bases printed out for him. So that's good. I think they're 140, no, 160 by 140, something like that. But yeah, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes on the bamboo slicer just exactly how big something is. And as it was printing out, I said, whoa, okay, that must be Oliphant size. And I think, well, it was part of a free Great Beast of Golgoroth file. I think he just didn't know how big the base was, because it's actually much smaller. It is still an oval, but it's more like that. No, not 150. It's like a 260 or something like that. It is a monstrous base. So this is also very fun doing that with the. I'm gonna try and maybe get some of the lighter stuff on the violet portion of the leaf there too at a certain point here. What do we have going? You know what? We should maybe get a little more. That is the tree there. Let me see if I can get some light on this. On this fern right here too. Been doing some of the other ones. Let's get this. Yeah, that's a little better. Yeah, I've got the Titan Forged Dragon. That one's printed out, and actually that's I did that in a basing video. At some point, well, I don't know if I don't think we'll be painting him up on stream. He might be a little too giant for that. But maybe in a tutorial vid for the Patreon page. So yeah, bits around those Conquest minis. They can be a little strange. There's a lot of extra bits, and this is on a brand new army that they never even mention in the instructions. And if you're just trying to use one of those extra bits, it just doesn't work. Right, because it's kind of almost a bit like GW, where most of those bits, they can only be used a certain way, and that's it. Okay, now we'll get back to this guy here. I might come back. Yeah, I got the dark there. Maybe we'll try and do a little more light on the edges of those leaves. So this is probably one of the first chances I've had to paint one of the Goon Master leaves in quite some time. I definitely need to print out more of these. We'll need them for our lizard men. And you know what? Let me do some of this. Let me get some of the Perline blacks, some of our whiter sets. Hopefully kind of a mid-tone. I gotta get some light on this side of the leaf here. More of it is visible than I first thought, so again, we'll get some of that light there. Maybe even on this one. And then these guys for sure need some of that. Maybe a touch more. Okay, that's maybe a little more light than what I was looking for. Let's see how that will roll here. Okay, I think it still will work, especially up here. Everybody, please check out the it's a one-page rules latest piece, and again, that's what Surface Tension has been working on. So Surface Tension again has some fabulous oil painted miniatures. So please again check out that link that he just shared. And of course, thank you so much, Turkanair. Appreciate that. Wow, this, I don't know, he looks kind of big for a Hobbit to me. It's like, what was this Hobbit thing? What do you, I'm like an Ewok dude. I'm not sure where those live in Middle Earth. It's like, Middle Earth, is that like somewhere on Endor? I think we're talking about different universes here. So thank you so much for that follow. I appreciate that. And let's see. Well, he did not mention a certain thing, so let's see if he can maybe get the Gandalf 6 for not mentioning. Oh, look at that. Did we not call it? We called the Gandalf 6. There it is. So thank you so much, Turkanair. Well, Dark Horse, I'm really glad because boy, oh boy, right? There's so many things today that are just super stressful and everything else, and we want painting to be not stressful. We want it to be as fun as possible. I mean, it can be frustrating at times, especially maybe when you're trying to learn something new or adapt to some, well, like the oils, right? It can be a bit frustrating, and we want to make sure that's not happening. So, well, Surface Tension, I'll have to check that out. Again, the only, I think this is the only one-page rule. So, well, at least so far, anyways, this is the only one-page rules piece that I've done. And we did a 3-part series on this, from the construction and basing of it to the painting of it. So 3 episodes there. Again, that is from one-page rules. That was really, really fun. Boys, Surface Tension, I can't wait for those other dice to get here. The ones with, well, literally, it is literally a pipe. So that's gonna make for some fun little puppet shows with Gandalf, I think. Yeah, Dark Horse. Well, of course, much like Conquest, the Marvel Crisis Protocol, and also the Star Wars Shatterpoint stuff is pretty huge. It is pretty gargantuan. So thank you so much, Surface Tension. We don't mind emptying out a second dose of medicine there. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So, yeah, so yes, indeed. We predicted a Gandalf 6, and there was a Gandalf 6. Ooh, should we lighten that up a little more? I don't know. I don't know about that. This here, the basically Terra Rosa, and some of this, I don't know, we should make it even a little lighter perhaps. Let's try this. Right along this edge here. I don't want to lose all of the dark there. Oh, yep, that's what it needed. Something was looking a little out of whack right there. A little more, maybe. Fine. Actually, I got to shoot Grand Oracle a message. Just to see, make sure that Grand Oracle is doing okay. Because it's been a little while there. Obviously, the streams have been at, well, later times and such. And like I said, I will see if we can at least maybe do just a stream of maybe just this one stand of Ewoks here for Revenge of the Fifth. It will depend on lots of different factors. If I can get the video filmed tomorrow, and well, and weather issues and all that kind of stuff. Okay, yeah, that's a gives us a little more light there. Also up here, maybe we should try to throw a little more light up there. And again, let that mix. Just letting that do its mixing thing there. Some of the asphaltum, some of the perline, crimson. That is going here to try and get a little more separation between the fur and the fingers. It's just this weird thing that is how they look. The fur kind of ends, and then, well, you got the fingers. Now, I'm just doing this exactly, at least these guys here, pretty much like how the box art shows, except for the feathers. I've been doing a little something different there. There we go. Actually, Bisron with, well, given 3D printing, right, you could certainly have a big pile of zombies crawling around. Because I was going to say, well, if you got zombicide figures, but they tend to just be kind of the same couple of poses. But yeah, you could find yourself all kinds of interesting zombies, I'm sure, on my Mini Factory Cults 3D. Let me try something here. Let me see if I can't take some of the Radiant Turquoise. I don't know, I might just take the opaque light. I want to try and get a lighter edge on the feathers here. Let me see if this is going to work. I don't know if it will. Especially these. Oh, it will. Yes. That is just the trick right there. So yeah, one-page rules does some really, really fantastic stuff. And of course, Surface Tension and Bithron, it's not just the miniatures. They also they have some rules to go with that for all different kinds of systems. So if you found yourself maybe left behind by certain other companies / systems, maybe there's a little hope for you in one-page rules. I'm going to try that back on this guy now. Oh yeah, Denethor, I remember seeing that. Was that a couple of years ago, or was that further back than I remember? I do remember seeing that. I think people have been kind of doing the similar things, I guess, with, say, maybe Tyranids and Space Marines or something now. Now, let me take this, some of our, I guess, very, very, very light green. Does have some warmth to it. So, once again, on some of these ferns here. Just kind of on the ends here, maybe down in there. Get the end of this leaf here. Come on, a little more over there. And some here too. More than that's the the brilliant violet. That's actually not white. And that is also mixed with the green, just to, again, few little random edges here on these leaves. Not everywhere. Just a few places, maybe also right there, since the light would pretty much catch that. That makes, I think, a little more sense right there. Try the same thing on the other side here. that. Might even throw a little bit of light on that. Oops, that's too much there. We'll take our blending brush and kind of get rid of some of that. Also have to remember there's going to be all that greenery added. So obviously not the flower tufts per se, but see all that green flock and everything, that is going to be going on that jungle floor there. So that'll be a little bit different. So that's, yeah, Denethor, that had to been quite the pile of labor there for sure, right? Now I'm going to try to get some of the lightest of the violet here. Let me see if this will work on these leaves and just one part of it. Maybe there. Also here. Do that here as well. So yeah, Armor Wolf, thanks for the suggestion here. Instead of those just being, well, more green. There is more happening with the whole tropical foliage than just, well, a bunch of green. So, well, but that's not too, well, that could be too much thinner. I don't want to break that down too much. Kind of looking to do a similar thing here. We'll throw a little bit more of our, maybe some of this lighter violet out here on some of the rocks. Again, I don't want to go too crazy with that. Now, the other thing I want to do here before I forget is I want to do the edge here on this just to see, do we need to make this any lighter or darker? And again, this is our not blackest black. That's not the black 3.0. It's our kind of precursor to it. We put this down first, and then it really makes it better for the black 3.0 after the fact. So yeah, that does make a difference there. Yeah, because all we had was, I mean, that wasn't even our dark brown primer anymore because there was some of the lighter dry brush stuff. So yeah, that's we don't want to go any darker there. I can maybe go a little lighter on some of the rocks. There. Now on the desert bay there, let's see, the other box that I did, that was the one with R2-D2 and such. I did some hoodoo rocks to kind of keep the Tatooine feel, but then I also did the sand dune type of thing. So actually R2-D2 is making a bit of a trail in the sand, which I never actually have had a chance to do on any miniature, so that was fun. Now I need to get myself some new Daz air dry clay. I can use what I have, kind of just pressed it into molds, but it's really not good for sculpting anymore because, well, it kind of has been sitting around for quite some time, obviously because of craziness over the last year, well, the last 2 years. So yeah, recommend just kind of taking something like that and using it up as as fast as you can. Because, I mean, you can, and I even have it in the Ziploc and everything. I guess I could double Ziploc it or something. But I think just after a while, it's bound to get kind of, well, crispy. So I'm just going to try and use up the rest of it. And then we'll just get some more. I mean, I've been needing to make a whole bunch more little pressed stone mold things using the Woodland Scenics molds. See if we can maybe try and do that this week. So see you later there, Doji. You have yourself a good one. Happy Sunday, of course. Who knows? Maybe you'll be seeing us on your Monday morning. Again, if I get a chance to do that stream tomorrow night, maybe. Well, later tonight, because it's 1:42 in the morning. I keep forgetting about that. Yeah, it's already 1:42 in the morning here. Nah, that's too much green. I'm gonna back off, go more towards this. Maybe even a little bit of the yellow in there. I might try to lighten up a bit here on this side of them here. Okay. It is sort of hard to tell where some of the parts gonna begin and end on these guys here. But that work? Let's see. Well, okay, that's nice having that little difference in the color. Now we try to also lighten that up. Yeah, okay, that's good for that little leather belt strap thing. I don't know if this makes any sense, but let me see if we should maybe get... You know what? Maybe that does make a little more sense there by the ears, the little opening there. There I'm here. I'm just going to try and mask a mold line, kind of. No, not a mold line, a seam. What's going on up there? Is that another feather there? Can't really tell. It's especially funky after it was only a couple of weeks ago I finished off the Hobbit series. So that's why I keep thinking that we're still painting hobbitses. So again, Armored Wolf, glad that the tournament went okay. I know that is a ton of work before, during, and well, even sort of afterwards. That is quite the game store community that you guys have built up there. Between the paint nights and the Ursa. Actually, yeah, when is the Ursa contest there, Armored Wolf? Because I mentioned it, and I couldn't remember if that was more of a fall sort of a thing or late summer. I think it is more of a fall-ish sort of. Sorry, I'm just having a brain boo-boo on that. Yeah, what's that? Is that actually in a bit of it? Maybe that is actually in a... That's actually a sheath right there. Okay, so I don't have to do any stone colors or textures on that knife. Blending brush there. Again. Might try to chuck a little bit more. Do we have any? Yeah, we don't really have our fast matte white anymore out there. And I'm going to try to go a little lighter with, ironically enough, that is the Brilliant Violet. That is not actually white. Hey, Roland, nice to see ya. Happy Sunday to ya. Let me try to work in a little bit, yeah, a little bit more of our light there. I don't know, maybe the other, I don't know. Let me see if I can get some of this lighter yellow here. A smidge more over here. That might just do it. And I'll get some here. So Roland, great to see you again. I hope again that your Sunday morning goes well for you. Yeah, okay, there we are. I think maybe, believe it or not, it actually did need that. Get a little bit on the more on his face there. Hey there, Arathu. So Arathu, hopefully you're gonna be able to enjoy the last bit of the kind of the last bit of the vacation there, the last weekend of the vacation, anyways. So great to see you again. Actually, Big Jim was in the chat much earlier, a couple of hours ago. Now, hopefully everything goes according to plan there, Roland. I know, turn a couple little lights on the end of that leaf there, like so. Yeah, maybe a little over here. So yes, some really crazy furry hobbits is here. Gandalf is very confused, that's for sure. You know what? We never did get. There we go. The lighter stuff on the end of that, or this one. That actually makes a little more sense on that leaf too. Oh, okay. That's good there. Arathu. I was thinking this was the last, but no, it's kind of the next to last. It's just Armored Wolf and I, we are unfamiliar with those kinds of terms. We have no idea what those actually mean. It's something that those humans do or whatever, kind of like the whole sleeping thing. Here, let me get a little bit of this lighter violet over here. Some of these really strange rituals and customs that humans do. Get some more of my purple there. I might even try to... Let me see if I can do one bit lighter on the red. Is that going to be too orangey? Maybe, maybe not. I'll just try it on one part of our leaf here and see if it's too much. Maybe not. I might back up a little bit on that. Well, it's going to be fantastic there, Arathu. Very cool. Again, glad that you're getting a chance to do this. What's going on? I don't know. Maybe this... we'll just leave it at that. Now, what about this one? That actually has some of the lighter stuff in it already. But we'll try to go another little step into it here. Like there. And here, lighter. There. Maybe nothing on that, so even this I'm gonna tone you down a little bit. Alright, and then maybe just stop playing around. Again, the enemy of good is better. The enemy of completion is perfection. So let's not get wrapped up in that. That is too minor of a detail. What about up here on this? So we have lots of different colors going on in this lid. It's not just brown. There's reds. There's some yellows in there. There's even some greens and some some bluish grays. There's all kinds of fun stuff going on here. We got kind of this pinkish color we even threw in there. Gonna get some of this on his feetses here. Again, they are kind of like hobbitses that way. And of course, so a happy birthday in advance there to our Arathu. Work some more of that in here, also over here. You know what? Here, let me see if we can work in our a little bit of a highlight on the top of that belt there. Touch more. Yeah, I gotta get a little white on the top of that one. Really don't have much on the fur over here. Let me just throw a little something on that. Right. So these faces are pretty gigantic. Let me. Oh yeah, wow, they're like 2.5 times the size of the Humi faces there. Oh, you know what? We never did get the chompers up here. Is there? Oh yeah, now we're gonna try to get the separation in here. Let's do the. Now that's not quite as dark as it was before, but we're just gonna throw that in here. Now let's try this again here with some of our later stuff on his. I think that's his lower lip there. Okay, we got that. Trying to work in against some chompers here for him. There we go. Yeah, I think that makes a little more sense now. And that's the other reason why that feather was looking a little strange, because we didn't have the hood going around that. So have a fun walk with the hound there, surface tension. Yeah, so Bithron, I mean, the instruction, they're a little bit on the weird side, but at least there are instructions, right? As opposed to the other thing just has none, right? That's not terribly helpful. So some always better than none. I'll tell you that. And of course, if you're doing the larger army units, right, Bithron, after kind of the first sprue that you construct, by the second sprue, you almost don't need the instructions so much anymore. Obviously, you're trying to make, say, a champion or a standard bearer, but once you already have those, then you're just kind of making more of the same, right? Yeah, that just seems really, really weird, doesn't it, Bithron? I just don't get it. I really don't get the whole why they would do that. And I guess it's the same thing for Shatterpoint too, right, Bithron? How's about we welcome in Arid again, wife? Thank you so much, Arid. Appreciate the raid, like always. Everybody, please give Arid a follow, unless you already are. Most folks here would already be following Arid. So, Arid, I'm sure you had a fabulous stream, and of course, if you want to post your Pinterest link, please go ahead and do that. So he aired, well, just like we were talking in the stream last night, right, with the whole May the 4th thing. And I had these prepped and ready to go. So we tried to really hustle through on a basing video, and we did all the little, well, we keep calling them hobbitses. They're very furry hobbitses. And this one right here. So Alaska Hulk Lady, nice to see you back. And thank you so much, Vinta. Seriously, these are, maybe they're not hobbits. Morgoth, what'd you do to the hobbits? We're not hobbits. We're actually Harfoots in disguise. That's why we're gonna kill you. Don't you just usually doing that by like taking people's wagon wheels? So now he did not mention a certain Shireweed. So last time he didn't mention he gets the Gandalf 6. Everybody please check out that link there. Oh well, at least he didn't roll the 1. When he does this, out come the drug enforcement units there. Yeah, that would be our Dunlendings, and they're going to clear out that Shire. No more Shireweed for Gandalf. Here's another one that we did. This was part of last night's stream right there. A little bit of source lighting, a little bit of freehand, a little bit of everything. 3 hours ago, these two little guys, well, they looked like this. They had no paint on them. That's what they looked like here. Well, Arid, I'm sure that everybody absolutely loved what you were doing with the beating there. And again, everybody, please check out that Pinterest link that Arid shared. And then while you're at it, also please give Arid a follow. Oh yeah, this is another one that we did. So last night, we actually had someone time it from start to finish, 36 minutes. So essentially, dark brown primer to this, freehand, metals, source lighting, all that. 36 minutes on that one. So what I want to try to get in, oh boy, I don't know if that's going to be, that will be difficult. And of course, where's some of our other ones here? We've been having a blast with some Creebane, right? Lots of casualties. I printed out a whole bunch of these, so we've got more stands of those that we're going to make. And of course, well, here was our recent, this was our streamiversary right here, speaking of source lighting. And of course, many chapters of the Book of Wapol right there. So yeah, that was our last, the streamiversary was at April 22nd, somewhere in that range. Yeah, something like that. So thank you so much, Alaska Oak Lady, appreciate that. I'm going to see if I can... Maybe we take the phthalo green. No, we'll maybe take that and the Prussian blue. Okay, so that's back to some dark there. Here, I'm going to see if I can't on these feathers here. Put some kind of a darker spine down the middle. Ah, there we go. I think that's another thing that's sort of missing on these. Well, Dark Horse, hopefully, hopefully if maybe even introducing the oils it's kind of a fun thing, and it cuts out a lot of that extra work, well, because of hashtag no layers, of course. Hashtag no layers. Again, we'll save a bunch of time just there. You see us doing a lot of the, as we call it, the plop and push, where we just literally slap a color on there and then just push it around. Well, we have some more things for you then. And this is also on the YouTube channel as well. This is one of our Titan Forge Bretonnians there, so a wee bit of turquoise on that. And of course, well, we did tons of these on stream, right? The entire basically evil Galadrim army there, as Galadriel takes the one true ring, and then it's winter in Lothlorien. So we did a whole bunch of these, 5 horses and a bunch of infantry, and then of course, well, also 2 when we've got some of our Tomb King stuff. Nice little spell effect there as the sand kind of works its way up into the spell effect there. Speaking of horses, this is the Cavalry channel after all. Alright, well, thank you so much, Arid. Appreciate you being here, and of course, appreciate the raid as well. So, again, everybody, please give Arid and Wife a follow if you could. So, yeah, you can check out, again, all of these sessions. They are all saved as highlights, so you can check them out. So the Twitch channel is kind of like a YouTube channel, but I will also on the YouTube channel take every so often take an episode, maybe shrink it down, especially if we're doing multiple figures in an episode. I'll just break it down to show one start to finish. This could definitely use some extra. Yeah, there we go. That still has some of our original dry brushing on there. Yeah, that needed a little something extra there. So see you later there, Arid, and of course, thank you so much for the raid. Even I'm gonna get me some turquoise in the shadow of our reddish brown leather because it makes total sense. Yes, it does. Because that's going to make the reds in it that much more of a reddish brown. Also, too, if a color goes somewhere, it must go everywhere, right? Again, just working with the oils. These are traditional artist oils out of the tube. So as you can see, we have added basing bits to the original miniatures here and other stuff too. You can see, okay, that plastic tree, that's part of the original, but then we've added ferns and other plants here to make this one different. We did this tree right there. So we're constantly looking for ways to make stuff look a little different. And of course, basing really, it turns every miniature into a diorama, basically. Every miniature becomes a diorama. But it sets a strong theme for an army, like the Dunlendings that we were showing not long ago. Fine, we'll throw a little bit of dark under that. These leaves can sometimes be a little bit pesky. Try and get me a little bit more of my dark in the recesses of these leaves. Something like that. So see you later, Alaska Hulk Lady. Again, I'm hoping to maybe do a little surprise Sunday stream tomorrow and perhaps paint some more, at least one more stand of these, maybe on a kind of a reef stream tomorrow. So what was that be? Revenge of the 5th? I'm going to try and get me little touches of light here on these feathers. Come on, a little lighter there. A little lighter there. And a touch more there. What do we got going on in here? Fine, I'll lighten up the, well, whatever's going on with his stone stick here. Maybe a touch of light on this branch there too. And there, Peace Talker, nice to see ya. Hola. So, Peace Talker, yeah, I hope that you got the message and such there last night with all the links and everything. And like it says in the message there, you can always check out the color theory and oil episodes always a good place to start. And of course, well, there will be a new video that you'll be seeing tomorrow. That'll be this basing video. Get some more of this here. A little more light down there. A couple more lights on his leg there. Let me see. Yeah, this could be too much, but I'm going to try a couple little lights on the leaf there. Maybe even something on this fern. For whatever reason, just seems like maybe that could use a little bit. What's going on with this leaf here? I don't want that to get too much of a cool green. I'm trying to use that on these leaves. I think this one over here we're going to also try to maybe get a couple little lights going on this too. More of our light on that. A little more here. Something down there. I think we already have our lightest green in that. What about this? Did we do the... No, we didn't. Trying to, again, sneak in a couple little lights on the feathers in just a few places. Some little sneaky, cheeky lights. And a little something there on the hood. We'll take the blending brush to blend that too. So yeah, so sorry about that piece, TikToker. No, definitely everything has been going okay with that for sure. Trying to get a little bit of light along the edges of that. Also here. Let's throw a little light on the end of that leaf out here again, because he's not casting any sort of a shadow on it. That could be too much light there, but I might just see what happens when we do a little bit there. And then maybe a little something here. Either that or we'll come back with our darker green again. Or maybe even... Well, let's see what that... I think that'll hold okay there. Yeah, something like that. Will we put some more of our green here? Yeah, sure. On this leaf, maybe some of it going right down the spine of that leaf, and then some here too. I think we already did that one. This could use a bit there. That little, is that a, yeah, he's actually standing on a rock there. I need to get a little bit of light on that. Something, a little bit more of the, well, not that much indigo. That kind of darkened it down a little more than we wanted. Let's go with this, see how that works. Yep, that's about it. We wanted it to be, again, a mid-tone, not a super bright highlight or anything. And if that has some cooler blues in it, that will stand out from the warmer fur color, of course. Now that's a little lighter. That'll go here, some of that here, another little rock over there. on his toes. Maybe we will do something lighter on the toes. Like that, yeah, and then maybe even the the fur there. Let's gather up some of our later yellow here. Is this opaque enough? We'll find out soon enough. It is just opaque enough. I didn't want it to be super, super opaque. We need a little more on the arm up there too. Yeah, like so. So again, thanks to everybody for being patient there. I realize that this is now not exactly May 4th, but we will continue our Shatterpoint extravaganza. Hopefully tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe even Monday I do another one of our Shatterpoint figs. Maybe we do the other stand of the Ewok archers. So yeah, I think I started about... Oh, gee whiz. I wanted to start at about 9:30 my time. I didn't start till basically around 11, which meant we only had about an hour of actual May the 4th time. And of course, for folks overseas, it was already the 5th. Like Recoil and Recoil's mom. And again, Recoil's mom, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Now, I have no more reserve resin left. The new stuff that just came in yesterday, I've already used probably a third of it, and we'll probably be using, well, we're going to have to be refilling the vats tonight after the stream, so that will be extremely helpful as we lighten up the top of his belt right there. Well, true. No, I want it to be a cooler blue there, so let's not do too much with that yellow on the stone there. Now I'm gonna go the opposite direction here. Let's take some of the... Well, that's the asphaltum, but it does actually have, I think maybe either some Indian yellow in it or the Mars yellow D.